Today we're going to look at 3 times that people went places they shouldn't have. But before we get into this video, if you like listening to strange and shocking true stories, give this video a thumbs up so I know what kind of content you'd like to see. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss another mystery. Now sit back and relax and let's get into today's video. Famous for its natural and cultural beauty, Minnesota is a northwest state in the US bordering Canada. It holds a mix of wilderness, waterways, and hiking trails, as well as cultural attractions like museums and historical sites. It's also famous for many sandstone caves that are found along the Mississippi River. And on April the 27th of 2004, that's exactly what 5 friends went out to explore. This group consisted of Nicholas, Natalie, Patrick, and Justin, who were all 17 at the time, and James, who was 19. The group wanted to find some caves that they'd been told about from some friends at school. Once they arrived, they noticed signs talking about the dangers of the caves and the fact that 2 girls had already died there sometime earlier. But teenagers being teenagers, they just went straight past the warning signs and made their way through the small opening, which when you got to the other side, you were able to stand up normally. Once the group made their way deeper into the cave, about 200 meters or so, one of the boys in the group, James, started to feel lightheaded. He would later state that he briefly lost consciousness and was fumbling around in the dark until he saw a really small light, which was the entrance of the cave. James tried calling out for his friends, but he didn't hear any response, so he quickly left and alerted authorities. But unfortunately, by the time that the fire department got there, 3 of the teenagers were already deceased and 1 of them was taken away in a critical condition. The fire department reported that the carbon monoxide levels in the cave were extremely high and that the air only contained about 15% oxygen. Officers said that the high carbon monoxide levels were probably caused by people starting fires inside the cave in the recent weeks. And with little circulation within the caves, the deadly fumes remained.
3 teenagers, 2 boys and a girl, have died of apparent carbon monoxide poisoning.
These caves are limestone caves, and there are probably some sections of the caves that nobody's actually been in. There's so many miles and miles of caves.
High schoolers came for closure, mourning Pat Daig, Nick Larson, and Natalie Van Vorst, who came to explore.
The entrance was sealed to try to stop people from going inside these caves, and a memorial was set up, but locals said that children will still continue to go in these caves because there's so many entrances and the earth is too easy to be able to carve into that you can just create new entrances. So they believe that deaths like this will just continue to happen.
Temporary solution for about a week maybe.
For a group of adventurous teens whose curiosity was stronger than the warnings.
Kendrick Johnson was a 17-year-old junior at Lowndes High School in Gorgia, USA. He loved playing sports and he was a very fit young man with a bright future ahead of him. That was at least before the 10th of January 2013 when he didn't come home from school one day. His parents were immediately concerned because this was completely out of character for him, so the following day a search began and it was heavily focused around the school because that was the last time that he had been seen. Teachers, students, family members and the community all tried to help and find Kendrick. But then a terrible discovery was made when some searchers, who were also pupils of Kendrick, made their way into the school's gymnasium. They went into the storage room and they saw 2 sock-covered feet sticking up vertically, upside down, out of a rolled-up wrestling mat. Once they took a closer look, it was in fact the body of Kendrick Johnson rolled up inside of the mat. These mats were very, very large, about 2 meters tall and 1 meter wide, and the students literally had to climb up to be able to get onto these mats, to be able to look down inside them. This discovery just created more questions than answers, and everyone wanted to know how this could have happened, if it was an accident or if someone had done this and put his body in there. The autopsy revealed that Kendrick had died from positional asphyxia, which makes sense since his body was found upside down in a small area of space, which would have made it extremely difficult to breathe. A fellow student said that Kendrick would often go up on top of all of the mats and throw his shoes down inside of the mats, and this story paired up with the fact that Kendrick wasn't wearing any shoes when he was found upside down in the mat, so police kind of made a theory that he threw one of his shoes down inside, he went to go get it, and then fell headfirst straight down into the mat, and when he couldn't get out, he just died from the asphyxiation. So this was naturally ruled as an accident, but Kendrick's family did not believe this for one moment. They just found it too difficult to believe that he would have dove headfirst down into these mats to go after a shoe. Unsatisfied with the results of the investigation, Kendrick's family actually hired someone to do an independent autopsy, and what they found painted a totally different story from what the previous autopsy revealed. The autopsy revealed that there had been some blunt force trauma to the neck, and this conclusion, paired with the fact that Kendrick's family just couldn't accept the fact that such a horrific accident like this could happen, they came to the conclusion that it had to be murder. The autopsy also revealed that after Kendrick's body was retrieved from the mat and went through the funeral home, they had taken out all of his organs and filled his body with newspaper. The family filed a complaint against the funeral home as well as the school for not looking after Kendrick, as well as the fact that the surveillance footage wasn't very good. None of it was working, and they even believed that bits of the surveillance footage had even been tampered with and taken out as part of this conspiracy theory. The family also claimed that Kendrick had been attacked on the school bus 14 months prior to his death, as well as the fact that he was bullied by other students. They even named different students about this. They were convinced that Kendrick had died from grievous bodily harm, although when they took this to court, the judge ruled that there was not enough evidence to say that this was not an accident. In a shocking turn of events, Kendrick's family was ordered by the judge to pay almost $300,000 in legal fees to the dozens of respondents they claimed in their civil suit, including teachers, other students, the school, and the funeral home, accusing the family of fabricating evidence to support their claims that Kendrick had been murdered by the students. Chelsea was a 24-year-old Nevada spa worker who worked for a company called Rejuvenate in Las Vegas. She absolutely loved her job, and one day she even wanted to open her own business similar to that in Hawaii when she joined her boyfriend back there. Unfortunately, before this dream could become reality, a tragedy would unfold. On the morning of the 20th of October 2015, one of Chelsea's co-workers showed up at work to start her shift. When she pulled into the car park, she noticed that Chelsea's car was still in the same spot from the day before, and this was very strange because Chelsea wasn't working that day. So she went up to the front door, she unlocked it. When she went inside, she saw that Chelsea's things were still on the desk, exactly where they were the day before. This was kind of strange, but she thought, okay, I will see if Chelsea is here. She slowly made her way to the back of the building, feeling a bit confused and nervous. She went into another room, and that's when she found Chelsea's body slumped in the fetal position inside the cryotherapy chamber with no signs of life and no struggle. Her body was completely frozen, as temperatures inside the chamber can reach as low as a negative 115 degrees Celsius. Police were immediately called, and after they investigated the crime scene, they deduced that the night before, at the end of her shift, Chelsea went inside the chamber alone after she closed the business. What exactly happened next is unknown, but the coroner stated that Chelsea died from asphyxia due to an oxygen-poor environment. Nitrogen, which is used to cool the chambers, displaces oxygen and takes it from about 21%, which is the normal oxygen in the air, to about 5%. It was stated that breathing air with this level of oxygen would quickly result in unconsciousness and then death. As it turns out, Chelsea texted her boyfriend the night of her death that she was going to take a treatment herself after work, and one of her co-workers said it wasn't that uncommon for them to use the chamber while they were alone. It was thus labelled an accident, and the business was forced to close down, and Chelsea's family remember her as a loving and caring young woman. And that's it, we've reached the end of the video. If you found the clue in today's video, let me know below with the timestamp and I'll pin your comment. And if you enjoy listening to strange and shocking true stories, give this video a thumbs up so I know what kind of content you'd like to see. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss another mystery. If you'd like to suggest a story, feel free to message me on Instagram. I'll leave all of my links in the description below. And lastly, thanks for watching. Your support means a lot to me, and I look forward to covering more strange and shocking stories with you guys in the future. Until then, catch up.